Hey everybody, I hope everybody is doing good today. I hope that everybody is blessed. Hope that everybody has ate and is well rested, has worked out, did whatever you normally do with your daily routine. And I hope that you are ready to receive this word. I did a video a few days ago. I uploaded part one and I gave you guys three relationship and dating tips that was very vital for setting the tone for your relationship. So today I'm just gonna do part two, just dive a little bit more deeper into the why those tips were so vital, so important, and why that does set the tone for you two relationship if you're considering being serious with a male or a female. So I gave number one, where was that person at spiritually in their life? Asking those questions. What are their belief system? Do they have a prayer for life, or do they even pray? Who do they worship? Who do they believe in? And those questions to ask are so important, and it has been so important for me because throughout the time I've been dating, or I was dating, and throughout the time that I've always been in a serious relationship, for those who really knew me, knew that I've always put God first. I've always been a spiritual person. And that is what is important to me in my significant other. So at first, I was dating people that wasn't really fond of God, wasn't really fond of a spiritual life or anything like that. And then I start dating in my later life, which I thought was men that I were equally yoked with, spiritually, mentally, you name it. And I learned that it was almost forced for me to take them to church. Like I would get up on Sundays or ready to have a Bible study or devotion, and I'd be like, "Hey, babe, come on, let's do this. Like, let's have devotion, let's have Bible study." And it was always some pushback with some of them, or if they did it, it almost felt like it wasn't genuine. And for me, I was looking more so for somebody that, is willing to, get up, pray, do devotion, do all of that without it being such a struggle, without it being such a hassle to, like, I'm pulling teeth for that person to really connect with me and God on a spiritual level. And that can be a headache sometimes, y'all. Like, it was a headache for me. And then eventually, my relationship with God grew very distant because I allowed myself to get connected with someone that wasn't even on a spiritual level, didn't have a relationship with God. First and foremost, did not know the importance of having all of those things. And then too, you really just need to find out what's important to you. With that being said, with that question, for me, what was important for me is that I settled down with somebody that had a relationship with God first and foremost, because that's going to set the tone for how he treats me. And then someone that can be my prayer partner, somebody that can pray over me when things get rough with me and him, or just as individuals when things get rough in my life or, my business, and vice versa with him. So, and those things I did not have in a relationship. And I realized those are the things that I yearn for, because it's like, that is me. That is a part of me. And if you can't get with that, then you really can't get with me. A lot of them put on fronts at the beginning, like quoting Bibles verses. And then I later found out, like, dude, that wasn't even you. Like, you was just putting on a whole facade like that is you, and that's just not really you. So yeah, y'all be careful of that, because we got those out here. They'll quote Bible verses back to back, but don't that's a it's all a front. And had somebody like that. Then later on, I'm like, man, like found out that he had all types of issues, anger and all that. And I asked him, like, where's those Bible verses you was quoting? Like, you got God in you? Okay. Like, so you really just want to know what level you're meeting that person on, what spiritual level that they're at in their life, and what's their belief system. Who do they believe in? Me personally, I'm a Christian woman. I do believe in God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. So if you're coming at me with anything different, I'm not going to exit you out as far as exiting you to be, somebody that might can help me or I can help you. But as far as being with me, I can't allow myself to be with anybody other than, a Christian man or somebody that has some type of spiritual connection with the Most High. That's me personally. Anybody else might have a different opinion, to each his own, but I know what I want. And it's all about, what do you want? Actually, what do your soul needs? So just keep those in mind. When you're in a relationship, that is so powerful. You want to make sure you ask those vital questions. It's really, really important, especially if you're trying to grow spiritually, if you're trying to be well rooted and grounded spiritually. You don't want the person that you're with to deteriorate you off of your spiritual journey. And oftentimes Christian women, Christian men get pulled away from the journey that they're on with God because who they're entangled with, who they decide to connect with. So that's important. Number two that I gave y'all was, what past traumas do that person face, or have they faced? What are their current traumas that they face? And to those who don't know, I am a mental health advocate. I'm a mental health counselor for substance abuse and for mental health abuse. I have been for, if not a little over 8 years, definitely at 8 years. What I've learned in relationships, just speaking from past experience, is that I've linked with men that they don't show it on the surface, that they have anger issues or connections with ex-wives or their exes, but God has revealed it to me throughout the time of our relationship. And when I found those things out, it really hurt me, because I'm like, man, I thought this was a person that I wanted to build with. And not just that what they were going through. Some of the men that I dealt with was they had been molested, some of them by women. Some of them had been abused. And that changed how they looked at things in our relationship. When you go through things in life that traumatize you mentally, sometimes it changes how you look at things. And we have to be mindful of that. And I don't think that we take those things into consideration while seriously dating or seriously trying to be in a relationship with someone. Our scope in life is shaped from our experiences, and we do not realize that. So now my conversations, when I'm seriously, consider, I haven't, but if I was to ever consider somebody being in a serious relationship, one of the conversations is going to be about, what are your past traumas? Let's talk about what are the things that has affected you? How is your outlook on life now? Let's talk about that kid that's been molested. Let's talk about seeing mommy and daddy getting abused in front of you. Let's talk about that drug addiction. Let's talk about that mental health issue that you're facing. That's what's going to set our tone. That is what's going to show me as a woman how I need to approach my man, how I need to approach you. Seriously, and you approach men and women differently that has been through some things. Bottom line, no, as a woman in a relationship, a part of the roles that I play is being therapeutic to my man. And whoever disagree with me can disagree with me, because you look at us women, okay, women, you ask yourself, what do we want at that man? Do we want our man to be therapeutic to us? Yes. When we're bawling in tears, when we're on our period and we're not feeling our best selves, don't we want our man or our friend to comfort us? Yes. So why we can't be that to that man? But first we need to know how to approach that man. That is so vital. What has shaped in this man life to make him look at things differently in a different scope? So it's really vital that you understand this man or woman past traumas, and even your friends. It applies to friends too. Someone commented that on my Facebook post. Yes, it applies to friends too. What have our friends been through? That'll let us know as friends how to approach that friend. Some things are just off limits to talk about currently until that person heals from. We need to know how to approach our friends, y'all. So, and I talk about that because that shapes so much, man. Like, so much got revealed to me when I was going through these relationships. And then I'm like, oh man, okay, so that's why he has this PTSD when it comes to me making a move on this. Okay, that is why. And I often ask myself, okay, Shannon, do you care so much more about what a man or what your friends has been through, gone through, and is currently going through because you're a mental health advocate? Yes, but then too, we should. We should. If we care about that person, or if we're trying to care about that person or that loved one or that friend, that coworker, that helps. That helps us to know what boundaries to cross and what not to cross. So knowing what that person has been through is so vital. That also will help you to grow. It will help you to grow. Maybe that person has been through some things in their last relationship that maybe only you can bring differently to the table, as far as a different way of healing, a different way to approaching situations. I'm not saying being superwoman and that you can completely heal a man. No, but what I am saying is you might can bring a different approach. And I've been able to do that in certain relationships. And I'm not saying that that's going to fix the relationship or anything if you're currently going through that, but you might be able to offer a different approach if you take the time to know that person, different traumas, current traumas, and maybe how you can just better help that person and how that person can help you. And then, when your relationship flourish, man, that is the most beautiful feeling ever. Like, it is. So that's that's tip number 2. You want to know what their traumas are, what they currently face. I gave you number 3 about self-discipline. You want to know how is that man or that woman or friend good with self-discipline in the self-discipline area. Just to be a little bit more transparent in my life, when I was dating, I dealt with men that was not financially capable of saving. And what I mean by that is, I wasn't looking then for a man to have a lot of money. Just what do you do with the money when you have the money? Because it's like, if you're asking for a business, you're asking for God to help you with X, Y, and Z financially. But if God can't trust you with this little portion of money now, how can he trust you with so big of a task of having a large lump sum of money? And we don't think about it as that when it comes to self-discipline, meeting somebody with self-discipline over their finances. Can I trust you with this piece of money to go pay a bill on time that won't significantly impact my credit? Can I trust you in the area when it comes to self-discipline? When we do go out in public, your eyes aren't fixated on another man or another woman. Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, respect. Can you respect me enough? Matter of fact, do you have enough self-discipline so where you're not disrespecting me in public when it comes to another man or another woman? Or, let's get deep, how is your thought process when I'm not around you? Because your thought process when I'm not around you, that lady or that woman thought process when they're not around you, that is what you're going to be tied to mentally. Yeah. Who they are when they're not around you. What is their self-discipline like when you leave that house? What are they watching? What's on their YouTube feed? What's on their Facebook feed? Come on. What's on their Instagram feed? That's who you're dating. That's who you're married to. Their mind. Who you are when I'm not around. That's complete self-discipline. And that is the self-discipline that I am looking for when I'm looking in a relationship, when I'm dating. How is he in the self-discipline area with his finances, with other women? How is he self-discipline area with his prayer life? How is his prayer life like? When he wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that he do? In his prayer life, do he first stop and thank God, pray in the morning? Is he disciplined in that area? Is he self-disciplined when it comes to him working out, sticking to that meal plan or that diet or whatever plan that he's on? Is he self-disciplined? Now, I'm not saying every single time you're going to meet the mark, but is he giving that his best foot forward in his life? Because I'm going to tell you now, with all those points that I just caused, it's nothing like feeling like you're the only one walking with that man in public, and that man don't have his eyes on all these other women when you're in the mall and other places, but he has his eyes fixated on you. He knows you. He respects you enough that he's not going to do that. It's nothing like growing physically with a man. Now, when you're married, of course, in bed, but also with workout journeys, that man uplifting you while you're working out, because he has that much self-discipline that he might see a weakness in you that he can help with. Again, let's talk about equally yoked. Knowing that man weaknesses and strengths. He's self-disciplined. And that is also a characteristic of a leader as well. That man being self-disciplined. So, and I talk about those points because, ladies, I have made mistakes in those areas, not looking at those points of self-discipline, not looking at those points of what past trauma or what current trauma that he's faced, not looking at who do he believe in, what is his spiritual life like. Getting into countless arguments, senseless arguments over things that we should have covered from the get-go. Let's not repeat the same mistakes as we're dating, as we're trying to get serious in a relationship. Because I honestly don't know about y'all. In this season in my life, I can't afford no more mistakes that I've already gone through, that I've already repeated, that God have already brought me from, that I have already learned a life experience or a life lesson from. We cannot repeat those same mistakes, ladies. Seriously, let's stop being blinded. Let's open our eyes and let God order your steps while you're dating. Let him. And I'm going to end it like this because I know this video has been a little lengthy because it was very vital that I explained the why to those tips. And it was very vital that I explain my why as well. Let me just say actually two things before I end it. Your testimony and your true deliverance is going to come through your life experience. You opening up your mouth and you sharing it to the ones you trust. Me, I'm using my platform to be a blessing to the masses, honey, like everybody. Because I know what I've been through has not been in vain. So I just want to give each woman and man listening right now, each little girl that has tapped play on my video, I really appreciate it. And I just want to encourage y'all to share your testimony. You will be surprised how many people that you reach. Definitely more videos to upload, more of my life experience to help you guys. And then I'm going to end with this. You want to write down while dating and seriously thinking about being in a relationship, but the job that I just left, a woman told me to do this, and I know to do this because I knew how it helped me in a different season where I was at in life. A woman said, Shannon, take a journal and write down the exact man that you want God to bless you with. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, so funny that you said that because God had laid it on my heart to do that. And she's like, yeah, she was like, down to the T. She said, now be specific in what you want. Write down every single quality and characteristic that you want God to bless you with as a man, as a partner. And it's like, man, then I hit my confirmation. So I am challenging you guys to write down each characteristic about a man or a woman that you want God to bless you with. Do not leave anything out. It might take you 2 and 3 pages in that journal, but however many pages it take, write it. God said, make your vision clear and plain. It's in his word. So when we make our vision clear and plain and write it out to him, he will intercede on our behalf. So do not, first and foremost, I know I gave you guys 3 tips, but first and foremost, write your vision of who you want God to bless you with clear. Write it down. Write it down. Nexus and brother, do not make the same mistakes. We are not repeating the same mistakes God has delivered us from, the red flags God has already given us. We're not doing that. We are not doing that moving forward. We're going to take back our power. We're going to allow God to use us in this season to be helpful to others. And we're going to date intentionally, guys. I will upload more videos. I hope that this video have reached anybody. Y'all take care and let's remember to date intentionally. Bye-bye.